Sometimes I don't know when it started. I don't remember a moment where everything broke. There was no explosion, no collapse, no clear ending. Just a slow widening, like space between words, like silence growing thicker. One day I realized I spend more time alone than with anyone else. Not because I chose it, not because I planned it. It just happened. At first, I tried to fill it. Noise, screens, voices in the background, anything that sounded like life, but nothing stayed. Everything passed through. And when the noise faded, the loneliness was still there, waiting. Not angry, not dramatic, just present. Loneliness doesn't feel the way people describe it. It isn't always sadness. Sometimes it's empty. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's quiet in a way that feels endless. Like standing in a large dark room with no walls, no echo, just you. I used to think loneliness meant something was wrong with me, that I failed somewhere, that I missed a step everyone else understood. But the older I get, the less certain I am. Maybe loneliness isn't punishment. Maybe it's a condition, a side effect of being conscious, of noticing, of seeing beneath surfaces. Most people are surrounded by others, but that doesn't mean they feel connected. Some of the loneliest faces are in crowded places. Some of the loudest laughter comes from empty rooms inside. Loneliness isn't about numbers. It's about depth. There are things you can't say out loud, not because they're forbidden, not because they're dangerous, but because language can't hold them. Thoughts that collapse when you try to explain. Feelings that shrink when you name them. So they stay inside. And slowly, that inside becomes a world. A private country. Population. 1. At some point, I stopped trying to escape it. I stopped asking when it would end. I stopped bargaining with silence. I just sat with it. Not bravely, not peacefully. Just there. And something strange happened. The loneliness didn't disappear, but it changed shape. It became less like an enemy, more like a landscape. Cold, wide, honest. In that space, I started hearing myself. Not the version I show, not the version I perform. The unedited voice, the one that doesn't care if it sounds impressive. The one that only cares if it's true. Loneliness strips things away, distractions, masks, roles. It leaves behind whatever can't be removed. And what remains is not always beautiful, but it's real. Some nights, I still hate it. Some nights, I wish I could trade depth for ease, trade awareness for comfort, but I can't. And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe loneliness isn't a flaw. Maybe it's the price of not living on the surface. Maybe it's what happens when you refuse to lie to yourself. I don't have a solution. I don't have a lesson. I don't have a hopeful ending. Only this. Loneliness doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you are unlovable. It doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it simply means you are awake in a world that prefers sleep. Sometimes I imagine what it would feel like to meet someone who recognizes the silence, not tries to fix it, not tries to fill it, just sits there, not asking who I am, not asking what I do, just staying, no performance, no explanation. Only presence. Maybe that kind of connection is rare. Maybe it doesn't last. Maybe it doesn't come often. But knowing it could exist is enough to keep walking. Until then, I carry my loneliness the way others carry faith, quietly, without proof, not because I enjoy it, not because I chose it, but because it's mine. And if you're listening to this somewhere in the dark, feeling like the only one awake, you're not alone in that feeling. We are strangers, but we're standing in the same night,